Cool. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Apache OpenWhisk Tech Interchange meeting. I'm very happy to have you all. This is, of course, a bi-weekly meeting where we'll be talking about all kinds of updates around Apache OpenWhisk. This week, we probably won't have that much to talk about because a lot of us have been to KubeCon in the last week and are still kind of recovering from that. Or on holiday, of course. A lot of us have decided that this is a good moment to go on holiday as well. So luckily we do have some topics that we'll be handling, and the first one I'd like to give to the amazing Matt to talk about our graduation. Matt, take it away.
Yeah, thanks. So I have yet to catch up and recover from vacation long weekend. But Justin prompted me and asked me if I had any topics to talk about. And I said, yes, we should talk about graduation. And I set about creating some things yesterday. So let me share. So first of all, for those of all paying attention to the chat channel, this is a link I'm going to share right in a second. And there we go. So this is the guide to successful graduation that I read through a few times yesterday. And the most helpful thing, I think, for a Gestalt view of what needs to happen is, first I need to go through the thread from maturity model and extract what people have commented there and massage it into the table so we can have a finished maturity model that we can reference in any emails or votes we send. But fundamentally, it's a calendar that it's about a month, and it times out at the Apache board meeting. So the vote has to happen at the Apache board meeting. So, what has to happen, obviously, is with everything, is we have to have a vote. And would say somebody's got to come up and post a thread saying, hey, let's discuss graduate. We should probably discuss it and vote on it. So to our vote, and we need to tally it. Then we need to prepare a charter, and that's what I said about yesterday. So what I did was in our wiki, under proposals, under proposals, I created one page where I kind of outlined what I gleaned about writing. We have to write a charter as well and a resolution to the board. The charter is, interestingly enough, if you haven't been aware, the incubators automated a lot of the project pages, and I was trying to find charters for other projects, and I was unsuccessful because they're basically the link's broken for all of them because the auto generation didn't work or whatever. So the charter in my mind is, and from what I've gleaned, is just kind of a summary of what the project is supposed to do. And they said it should circle back to whatever the project was proposed for the incubator initially. So what I did is I linked the graduation process at the top, the link I showed previously. There's a template for the resolution, which I used below and started to fill in. And I linked to our Whimsy, which we'll have to update. So this is eventually where I have a question about this too for our mentors, but there's a button you actually can submit your resolution once you hit that point in the process as well. And there's some things that I'll probably have to discuss with the community as well as that I'd ask our mentors about, because our Whimsy auto-generated is saying we don't have IP clearance, we don't have copyright headers, we don't have licenses. So I don't know what they're using to base that information off of, and if that would impact. We need to clean it up before we submit anything to anybody. So proposed charter, like I said, we'll need to work on. I'll set about drafting something up. I copied in and referenced the proposal that I submitted when we started the project, so we can circle back. And the proposed resolution and description and scope should reference the charter, basically. The charter summary should go here, basically. And then we actually have to fill in eventually select a chair or vice president for Apache OpenWhisk and someone to chair the PMC basically. And then we have to submit what our initial list, not final, but initial list of PMC members are. And so what I did is I cut and pasted in all the current PMC members now, which we know, the PMC knows we need to probably whittle away and address and clean up and tighten. Most projects I saw had about somewhere between 8 and 12 PMC members. And we know a lot of these people, we've known for a lot of time, a lot of people have never been active at all. So I actually went through and I have a draft email sent to the PPMC, the private list, for us to talk about cleaning up this list. So we're putting the artifacts in place against this calendar I showed, basically. But it starts with the vote, and that's kind of one of the first things we want to talk to Roderick about potentially is someone, someone besides myself. I feel better, like I said in previous meetings, to kind of steward the process and things like that, simply because I started the project and I'm from IBM and I really want this to be community driven, and that's kind of why I reached out on the email list to help me fill out the maturity model matrix. So the next steps are in place. We have time to prepare and debate the charter concurrent, perhaps with, and time for the vote to run. There'll be an IPMC vote, and you see there's 2 weeks blocked off there because we'll get the old back and forth with them saying, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, you need to go back and try again. So we allow for time, but then we have a board meeting. I haven't looked up the June board meeting. They're always around the third week, like the Wednesday or Thursday, the third week. I think it's Wednesday, the third week of the month. So June. So it might be ambitious for June, but who knows? We can try, but we should probably start this vote thread as soon as possible and rally support to get as many people to vote as we can. So that's about it. Any questions from anybody?
So Matt, you would like a non-IBMer, since IBM did start this project, to start with the vote, right? Start prompting that on the mailing list.
Yeah, I feel that it shouldn't be Matt at the front and Matt at the back end. I shouldn't be the person proposing the project from IBM, and then an IBMer. I'm still trying to do the work to make do my fair share of the work, but I'd like somebody else to lead the process through, and that's kind of why I want to reach out to Roderick to see if he wanted to do it. And we also we have to work together on the PMC against this list with the PMC tightened up the list of names, and perhaps even look to see, once we clean up the list, who we've left out and what committers and things we want to bring forward before, if we do get approved by the board, then it would be nice to have the committer role cleaned up and have everybody, and go back and review people who have made commits and invite them if they've made a good number of commits and met the minimum criteria. So just my opinion.
Can people put themselves forward as well?
That's typically not good netiquette, as the Apache board likes to keep saying. So, but it doesn't hurt if somebody, to reach out to somebody, who is on the board privately and, ask them if they've done enough and consider them, but, probably not in a public manner, I guess. No, it's everyone's busy, so it's hard to remember this unless we make it part of our cycle. Sorry for the background.
Have you got a visitor?
Apparently, or a package.
Any more questions for Matt around this?
I was hoping Roderick would say, yes, I'll do this, and come off mute, but I don't know.
No comment at this time.
That's safe.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll take that as
get my head wrapped around all of this and understand the process a bit better.
We'll all be there, but I guess it'd be nice to have somebody, who has got as much respect as you do in the community to lead this.
So if you have any more questions for Matt, Matt, you're available via our OpenWhisk Slack channel, of course, and otherwise you can always ask on the mailing list as well. Thank you so much to Matt. Now, for the next bit, I'd like to ask Vincent to share a little bit about the releases with us. Vincent, would you do the honors?
Hey, sure. First, I would like to paste the links in our chat. This is something I would like to share in a moment. Okay. Yeah, I just share my screen. So this is something I recently changed regarding our releasing process. And here is a bulletin, I believe 14, which is about tagging the commit IDs in the GitHub repository for the project. Let's click on it. Yes, I have seen that this is something that probably every release manager can easily overlook. After we pick up each commit ID from the project we're about to release, after we've done the vote, after we package the artifacts, we assign everything, put it up into the S3 repository, then, okay, we have a successful vote result, then it's time to announce something. Then on top of that hour, the manager needs to tag the commit ID in each GitHub repositories. Yeah, this is one thing. Here are some commands we can use either to tag it or remove your tag. But this is more I would like to re-emphasize. Our repository, each OpenWhisk project may have its own naming conventions for the tags. I reason examples over here, for example, the Golang runtime repositories. For example, if we hit the version like 1.11, we should tag something like Golang 1.11 at and version number, instead of like 1.11 at the version number. Because different runtime or different OpenWhisk repository may parse them in a different way. Unfortunately, we have not yet reached a consistency at this moment. So based on what project we're about to release, we need to find out what is the correct naming convention. Otherwise, we will get the Travis drop failed. So this is definitely one important remark I would like to raise in our meeting at this time. Yeah, it's very important. I also go through all the versions for 1.13 that I find like 4 repository failed. Then I found out, I think almost all the reasons were due to the wrong naming convention for the tag. So after we correct it, it should be fine. The Travis should be happy to push and to build and push the Docker images into our Docker hub. So this is definitely something I like to emphasize in this meeting. Okay, besides that.
So you talking mainly about the runtimes. So there's inconsistency across the runtimes, and
I mean just the naming convention for the tags. Right. Sometimes like 1.11 adds something pretty good, but sometimes we need to add like a Golang 1.11 for the kind and add the version number.
So are we? Do we have issues open to move towards consistency and against a proposal for one or the other? Or, I mean, are you saying that?
That's a good idea, but this is something, some work we need to investigate. We need to do. But at this moment, we don't have the consistency yet.
So which Vincent, do you know which runtimes? I think most of the runtimes you can tag without the the Golang. So which ones need to be fixed. I think it's only 2 or 3, and it sounds like the thing to fix is a Travis build or whatever scripts are depending on that Golang string, for example.
I also sent some private message to you regarding what kind of runtimes we need to fix, and for the 1.13 version.
Okay, so I would say we're much closer to actually having consistent naming. We just need to address the small number of runtimes that don't conform today.
Yeah, but even though we have consistency, this is definitely something we need to, let's say, emphasize for our release manager in order to get all the tag names in a correct way.
Right.
So the sections could be, it's very informatic.
Right. Is there, I think from the Slack message you sent me, I think it was just Golang and Ruby that didn't conform.
Yeah, sort of, yeah.
So if that's the case, can we just fix those 2 builds? And then we have a consistent naming policy for everything, just the version and then the release number?
Yeah, should be. But our main repository, like OpenWhisk, I don't think we need to add like the version for the language. We can directly add like 1.13. So we still have a different one.
But those
main repository.
But we don't use those tags in the main OpenWhisk repository.
That's correct. So yeah, there's something we need to say.
Okay. I mean, those tags are just for convenience, right? It's just saying this git commit was the place at which we created the snapshot release. We don't even need this tag, do we? From a Apache point of view?
From Apache point of view, since we only release source code at this moment, so it could be fine that we skip the step. But we actually put some official Docker image in our Docker Hub. We need to make sure that we have the Docker image available for the artifact release. Otherwise, we will find a kind of gap between that. So it's kind of hard to maintain in the future. We will see a source code has an artifact bundled release, but we have no Docker image available. Or say some are available, but some are not. That will not a good maintenance.
It's the convenience binaries should be named the same as the tag release in GitHub, and the match that should be no confusion, and the tag the source code zips as well, tar files.
Like in our main repositories or CLIs or catalog, like 1.13 version, we can use the tag like 1.13.0 hyphen incubating directly. We do not need the add. We do not need any kind of version for the language. But for the runtimes, we have to name like this.
Yeah, it'd be nice to. I mean, I'm almost compelled to create. Fix Ruby and Go. Is it Ruby and Go you said that are inconsistent?
Yeah.
So can we open issues and fix them, or?
Yeah, sure. So we can do that. We can at least make all the runtime in a consistent way. But
I think that's the first step, because that's going to get released most often. So that's the most prone to error, and make sure then consistently that the convenience binaries in Docker have a corresponding name. And then it'd be nice if I could delegate to somebody to help go to Docker Hub and actually create descriptions for it. So I think that only 20% of our images have descriptions at all. And so it would be nice if they all had some description or reference back to the READMEs at least.
The worst case is that we can still push the Docker image in a manual way, as I have proposed over here. Highlighted on this one.
Regarding this Docker push, can we do it via the Jenkins job, like we are doing for the master repo?
You mean Jenkins job for every repository?
One time, meaning if we can do it via some Jenkins file, templatize the process, and we can check in that. And
Currently,
that would
we're
ensure.
doing in Travis. That's how
Travis is
the
for the
package.
build. Travis is for the build but for running official builds which you want to push on Docker Hub. I think Jenkins running on Apache Infra would be the cleanest and the safest way to do that. Pushing it from local is having a risk where you might be pushing something which is not committed or something not valid. Typically, in most of the Apache process I've seen is such artifacts, if produced on the Jenkins machines in the Apache infra, are the right way to go.
Yeah, I just think it's an imposing task at this point. I think that we need to fix up what's there now. Then someone would have to volunteer, unless you're volunteering to write Jenkins for all the, how many times we have now? I don't know.
So let me just be sure I understand. You're saying instead of doing this out of Travis, as we do today, we should do it from Jenkins?
I don't think that make any difference. They're all CIs. No matter if it's Jenkins or Travis on some automated bot, it's the same mechanism.
Yeah, what makes Jenkins inherently better and not error prone? It still comes down to proper tagging, right?
I mean,
It's the same.
Can we just like saying Anthony? I mean, maybe the point is it's a Jenkins machine running in Apache Infra.
And there you have access to the credentials. With Travis, I think, okay, you can put it in encrypted form on the
yeah, we've done that
already.
Vincent's already done that. Everyone's done that for all the repos.
Okay. Yeah, probably that we can do then later. Let's go with the Travis for now. I missed that part here.
Yeah, it's all automated. The problem is just that the naming conventions for runtimes is not consistent. I mean,
yeah, let's focus on that part then for now. I would say if I can do something on the Jenkins stuff.
Now Travis already done that. That's why we have the tag. Already have the naming convention for the tags.
So Vincent, you'll take care of the two misnamed ones.
That'll be fine. Yeah.
Thank you, Vincent.
That'll be great.
Thanks.
Thanks for raising this concern, Vincent. It's nice to keep everything.
And yeah, besides that, I was about to say, let's say we use a manual mode as the release mode by default. Since the automated one sometimes brings some code conflicts into the main repositories. And I've already submitted some changes to the repositories by saying that okay, manual mode is the preferred way.
Yeah.
But if you want to go with automated mode, yeah, go with your own work. Yeah, so what I've been saying over here.
Yeah, I guess the concern is there's a large gap in voting sometimes, and if you in the automated mode, there's a configuration file where you
we only have
and it's checked into GitHub, and somebody could accidentally overwrite that in the interim where this long vote's happening, and then when you go to automate, then it's pulling the wrong version of this config file. So there's a window of possible failure. So maybe manual is better, given that the vote is a manual interrupt in the workflow or a gap in the workflow. So.
Yeah, and we still need to tag after we use the automated mode. We need to refer those kind of let's say 17 steps listed above available here the manual mode. Anyhow.
Yeah, we just need more people to run through the process and validate it. And I think that the one thing I want to make sure is that there's verification steps that people actually go out and say, manually verify that this worked, or make sure Travis built, or I don't know, for people who are warriors like I am. Oh well. Thanks, Vincent. This is good. So, yeah, the runtimes are so important. The runtimes are where people are that's where they get the most users. People are playing with those runtimes, and as we try to get them running on Knative, the images are exposed directly. That's why I kind of was really looking at this and was seeing inconsistencies. And I asked Vincent to look at this. So thanks, Vincent. I appreciate you doing this with your expertise. But really, if we're going to get greater reach of our runtimes and go hybrid and cross-platform and get OpenWhisk running with Kubernetes and with Knative, it's a must that we need to clean up our artifacts in Docker and how they're produced, and have them. If people want to find the source, the matching source, they need to be able to find them easily by name.
Thank you both for that. That was really good. Does anybody else have anything that they would like to add, or any questions that they have? Anything they're excited about?
One last thing I forgot. But our quarterly board report for OpenWhisk is due in June, and I just want to get this on the record in case somebody sees this and I don't, because thankfully Dave just picked up and did the board report for the last quarter, and I was advised that if we're going to graduate by somebody on the board, that our board report should say nothing about but ready to graduate, and there's a list at the top saying issues for graduation. We should say none there, and at the top we should say ready to graduate, and actually point to voting threads and things like that if we have them started, which I hope we will. So just anybody who picks that up and starts writing their report or drafting it, just make sure we do that. So thanks.
Thanks for that, Matt. Anything else anybody would like to add?
Not directly on the release part, but something. So I try to spend a few hours to try the JDK 11 stuff and see how far we can go. Once the compilation issue was solved with the PR, I was able to get the controller and the invoker up. At least they were running, and the API, some part was working. But the test cases, quite a few failures are there. And in some parts, I think we might need to update the Gradle version also. So would try to see if I get time to do it in parts and see how far we can go. Right now, the next issue is around some time handling. We started a thread on DL. Once we went past that, we'll see how far the failures are. But it looks promising. I don't see much blocker issue, but this would need some effort because we would need to coordinate this whole change across all the repositories, mostly 13 or 14 repositories. So would try to structure in a way where anything change which is compatible with JDK 8, I would try to push it and get it committed, and only keep the stuff which relies on JDK 11 in a PR, and then try to coordinate across all the repositories.
Thanks for that update, Chetan. That was great. And then, anybody else? Anything else they'd like to share? Any KubeCon updates? Anything they're excited about?
Yeah, who has been to the Barcelona? Justin?
Well, I'm excited about. I've learned a lot last week about Knative Client. Looks like the Knative community is finally converging towards a client, which was just hit 0.1 release, and they're working on a plugin model. And I think, by all accounts, the plugin for their client should be debated and merged and decided within the month. And at that time, I don't see why we can't start looking at trying to write plugins for Knative for OpenWhisk. So I think that's interesting.
That sounds exciting. I missed the last thing that you said, Vincent. What was that? Sorry.
Oh, I would ask, have you been to Barcelona? But this time.
I have not, unfortunately. No, not for KubeCon. Well, if that's all of our updates for this time, then I'd like to ask if anybody else wants to be the host, or who wants to be the host. That's what I should ask for the next Apache OpenWhisk Tech Interchange meeting. It's in 2 weeks from now, and that would be on the 12th of June. You basically have to do what I did, which is prod a couple people, ask if there's any updates, and then make sure that the meeting runs on time, depending on how many people you have. That's it, really. It's lots of fun. And it's something that we kind of pass the baton every couple of weeks, so somebody else does it.
That'd be June 12th.
June 12th, yes. Any volunteers? People are thinking about it.
I could do it. There's a small chance I may not be around, but right now I could do it.
Thanks, Roderick.
Well, I can be a backup.
Okay. I'm here.
Well,
Excellent.
look forward
Thank you,
to it.
Roderick. So Roderick's going to be the host next week. Unless he can't do it, then Vincent will be the backup. Next 2 weeks, in 2 weeks from now, sorry. Then the 12th of June. If you're seeing this on YouTube, please sign up to the Slack channel. You'll get all the updates there, or go and check out our mailing lists. And that way you can also stay up to date. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.